Hello everyone, welcome back to my Let's Replay channel. Once again, this is Andrew G coming at you. Today we're going to be doing our vlog review of Crossing Souls. Now, I got this game originally because on the Call Up Channel podcast I heard them talk about it on their releases, and it was an 80s nostalgia game with good pixel graphics, and, you know, it was old-time, like, you know, action-adventure games. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot, and it looked good. And from what you saw in my replay, the 80s nostalgia was definitely there from the very beginning. There's stuff all over the place. So, whenever I was going through the game, I was kind of surprised at the tone it took from there. Because it starts out as this, you know, kind of quintessential Goonies style thing where you get your friends together and you go on an adventure, you know, you gotta stop the evil villains, but it gets real fast. It gets real fast. So, I won't give away any spoilers here, but this game has a lot to do with life, love, death, and friendship. So, this game throws a lot at you when it comes to, like, themes, those 4 themes. So, it's very kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Unapologetic, in that when things happen in the game, you're kind of used to having, like, a, you know, happiest ending overall because of the type of game it is, and it's kind of, you know, the humor and the dialogue, and it's kind of wacky, but then the tone kind of shifts a little bit to more of a realistic aspect of it, which was a kind of a swerve to me, because I thought I was signing up for one thing. When I played through for a couple hours, then it kind of slowly shifts into something else. It wasn't bad, it was just unexpected. So, when I played through the game completely and beat it, I was generally moved by the story. It's a great story, but don't go in expecting this is a kid's game where, you know, you have the usual tropes. Go in with an open mind, and you'll definitely enjoy the story and enjoy the aspect of that in the game. Overall, I had fun. I enjoyed the game. I got about, I think, maybe 10 to 11 hours out of it total to beat. So not a short game, not a long game, but, you know, for about $10, that's a good amount of entertainment for what I got. I think I got it on the Steam sale I got it on the GOG.com sale. Yeah, so I got a couple bucks off. I think it was like 15, went down to 11. Anyway, so the good parts about the game. I love the nostalgia of the 80s bit. There's so many references. That's good. The writing is top notch. There's no voice acting because it's a, you know, throwback game, but there's a little bit of voice, I think, during the narration, but that's about it. And the controls are done well. They have multiple aspects, like, not mini games almost, but they have multiple aspects of games from the past. Like, they have one of those top-down, you know, flying sections. They have a, you know, Battletoads section where you're going through and you're getting chased from behind. You have to keep moving, not on a bicycle, but just, you know, period. Well, actually, they do have both. They have one where you're running and when you're on a bike. So, yeah, they have a lot of those stuff like that. Plus, they have other boss fights for the mini bosses before you get to the main one that are very quintessential of the games out there now, where, you know, the boss has pattern to 3, you do whatever you have to do, and then you take them down. And the other mechanic of this game is that you have multiple characters you get to play, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. So, you know, it's usually to traverse the map or to solve a certain puzzle that you need them for. So it's pretty intuitive the way the puzzles are laid out. Gosh, yeah, what else can I say? The graphics are pixel graphics, but they're done very well. Other than that, the gameplay is good and enjoyable. The story is good and enjoyable. The nostalgia's there. The only thing I would nitpick about this is that near the end, there are a couple of mechanics that they didn't introduce you at all in the tutorial sections when you're learning to, like, move around and do certain things that frustrated me to no end until I was forced to actually, you know, die multiple times trying to get past a certain section where it's a jumping mechanic that I didn't know I could do. I thought I had to do it one way, and it turned out I had to do it another way, trying to game the system. And when you get to it, you'll know what I'm talking about at the end, where you just get caught constantly from behind, and you're trying to do this one thing, and you don't know that there's a faster way to do it until you have to experiment. And if you're on a keyboard and mouse, it's very unintuitive, the mechanic that you have to use. But other than that, Also, at the end, there's a couple of sections where I used up my healing items a lot, and then I knew I was at the end of the game. But they sprinkle out the save points liberally in this game, so you don't have to go too far before if you do die or do continue, you can always load from another spot if you have to stop. Be either really close or pretty close to any other section. But I did go through a lot of almost all my healing things on one specific mini-boss battle near the end of the game. And then I knew I was coming up to the last boss, and I had literally nothing I could do. I didn't want to, perfect it, and I wanted to kind of get through the game at that point because I'd played for so long and I binged it. And it was very, very tough to get through that part. I had to go through it many, many times, and I would rather just have the healing items just to kind of go through it once or twice rather than having only one or two and then having to use those many, many times to try to beat the guy and not get hit at all. So, all in all, I'd say it's a pretty casual game. There is a slight learning curve, but the game does very well in its pacing. So if I had to give this a score, I'd probably give it 8 out of 10. Not any higher because of, like I said, it's a pixel game, and you do get a decent amount of enjoyment out of it for what you're paying for the price. So it is above average, and the story itself is great, and it invokes real emotions in you throughout the whole thing. There's really nothing else I can nitpick on it other than maybe it's not going to be any higher than an 8 because of the graphics. But if this was done today in a AAA title, they would try to basically CG everything. So I think for what they did in this game, it's a fairly epic game. It goes to many locations. They don't skimp out on any of the backgrounds or anything else in the game when it comes to the art style. So that's my review of Crossing Souls. It's a very enjoyable game. Good to play through if you got a free weekend. Put a couple hours into it a day, but the only thing about it that keeps it from going higher as well is the replay value. I don't think there's anything other replayed for other than to get some of the collectibles. And some of the collectibles I don't know how to get. Because of the art style, and you're always on a top-down when you're going on the overhead map, for most of the areas, it's really hard to tell where you can go and what you can do without literally hugging the invisible walls or one side or the other of the map and just experimenting. And you have bombs that can open up certain areas. I just don't know if there's like a Legend of Zelda, wall where it doesn't look like anything, but if I put a bomb here, I don't know. And there's no really way to tell. They introduce a bomb mechanic of, here's some, a boarded up cave, and it's like, well, that's obvious. But I didn't find anything else throughout the entire game that would match that, or like a cracked wall or something along those lines where it's like, I could put a bomb there. And no, I couldn't tell at all. And I was looking for everything throughout the entire game. So, once again, thank you all so much for watching. Once again, this is Andrew T coming at you, and what a great day for replay. Y'all have a good one.